Hi, I'm Jack Brown, and I'm going to do a little bit of a different demonstration today. It's kind of a novelty, but it's a salt shaker. And here it is right here. But as you can see, here in the lid, there's no holes in it. But there's one in the bottom. You see, there's one hole in the bottom. And, well, it's made with three parts. And here I'll take the lid off and look, there's some salt in it. Well, here it is. Here's the salt. You can see salt in there. But then you put the lid on. You better do that. And then you just shake it up and down. Look at the salt come out. Bigger hole, more salt. Smaller hole, less salt. But it's kind of a novelty, so that's what I'll do today. It's made out of three pieces. And I didn't have any real good wood here, so I just am using pine, spruce, fir, whatever kind of wood a 2x4 was made out of. And I cut it down to glued two pieces together to make it 2.5 inches square. And a lot of people have said you can't turn, or you don't want to turn pine or spruce or whatever that lumber is that you build houses out of, but that was what was here, so that's what I'm going to use. And in a few minutes I'll show you cutting one piece of it. I have cut the pieces for this. It takes three pieces, and I have cut them out or already turned round and have a tenon on the end. But here are the three pieces. Here is the main body of it. There. Here is the top, or the lid. And here is the inside part that makes it all work. It's a cone type piece, and you put it in like here. It has a hole drilled in the middle of it about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. You can see that. And you put it in like this, glue that in, and pour salt down on the inside. Put the lid on, and pick it up like this, and just shake it up and down, and you salt your food. Maybe sometimes it's too much, maybe not enough. Try it the second time. But here we go. I'll get rid of this platform here. And I've got a piece of wood of this construction lumber in the lathe right now, and I'm going to show you that how it can be done, turning pine or whatever this soft wood is, and show you that it can be done and it finishes off very nice. So I'm going to use a spindle roughing gouge here, and I've got a Jet Mini lathe. Here is what's in the shop here, and I'm going to turn this piece around with this spindle roughing gouge. That's got all the sharp edges off it, and I'm going to smooth it up. Now, as you can see, don't know which way would be the best, but I'm using this spindle roughing gouge, this wings on it, on a skew-like angle. There, you can see that better. And there it is, without any sanding. It's very, very smooth. So it can be done, and that's what I'm using today. We'll take this out. And I'm going to put this piece in that's for the main body, the cylinder. I'll put this in and make sure it's all trued up. Put it in good and tight. It's a little too long, but that's what I have done intentionally here. It's this part that I'm going to make right now. It'll be made like this. On there like that. With a bit of a tenon cut here so that this lid will fit on like this. This is the part here with this lid is the most accurate piece that we have to make. So the lid has to fit so that it's kind of a snug fit, but not too tight that you can't get it off. When you put them back in the lathe, the temperature and everything, humidity and all has changed them a little bit. So I'm going to smooth this up. Now I want to get the end of it here trued up, and I'm going to do it with a 3/8 Badan tool. Now I'm going to use a skew and come in on the end and put a little dimple in it so that the drill bit will get started right in there like that. The hole is going to be, when it's completed, 1.5 inches in diameter, but I'm going to do it in about 3 stages because this smaller lathe doesn't work good if I try to drill it 1.5 inches the whole way through there for 2 inches. So what I'm going to do, I've got the 1.5 inch bit in there right now, and I'm going to start the hole with this 1.5 inch bit so that when I get to that size in a few minutes, it will go right in, guide right into that I've got started. If I drilled it the whole way like that, it would take a long time and it would get very hot and probably set the smoke alarm off in this wood shop. And that really excites people. We'll have fire trucks and ladder trucks and people running up and down the hallways here like you wouldn't believe. So I'll start off here with what looks like about a 3/4 inch one. And I want to drill it about 1.5 inches deep, or 2.5 inches, and that's what I've got that bit set at. There's a couple advantages of drilling this with several different drill sizes. When it doesn't smoke as much, which I'm watching it to make sure that it doesn't. And as I get to the larger bit size, the shavings won't plug it up. I back it out every once in a while to get a little bit of the shavings out of there. But you don't want to grab that with your fingers. And you take it out of here. Now here's the next size. And I don't know what it is. It's about 1 1/4 inches. I want it sticking out a little more because I want to get about 1 1/4 inches because the body will finish off at 2. Now that completes the drilling of the hole. So I'll just take that out of there with the bit in it. I will cut a tenon on here that's about 1/4 or 5/16 deep so that the lid will fit on like this, which will be the next step that I do. And I will use my 3/8 Badan tool here again to cut the tenon on this. I'm truing that end up a little bit because I want to cut that like this. And now again I will take my skew, a very small one here, and in this, where those two joined together, I want to put a little wee bit of a groove in that, so that if there's any dirt on the shoulder of that, when it pushes on, it will get a good tight fit, especially for me here today. So now I'm going to cut this off 2.5, 2.25, right in here. And I want to get my pencil right here on that mark I put on. I'm going to use this 1/8 parting tool right there to cut this off right here on this line. Now before I get it off, I saw some rough spots right there. I'll get rid of those and continue back here. Now I want to lay this across here and see that it's square, and it isn't. So I'll take this out of here. And I'll put this in and lightly clamp it on the top of that tenon. And because it's the right diameter, where that chuck jaws forms a perfect circle. And that will work very good right like that. And now I will take this parting tool and get this squared off right across the end. So that when I put the lid on, it all comes together in one piece. As far as I can tell, that's square right across the end. And I'll get rid of any little bits of dirt in there. And just run that in there a little bit. And smooth up the inside because I don't do any sanding on this. I feel some rough, real rough stuff. So I'll take one of these sanding discs, and they're pretty stiff, and that's what I want. And it'll work its way in and out of there and get rid of just the fuzzy stuff in there. Because that's all I need gone out of there. You don't see it. When you finish it, you don't dare put finish on the inside of it. So that's got that part made. Now I'll take another part here, another piece, and put on here and make the lid. I'm going to use my spindle roughing gouge again to true this up a little bit. And the end of it isn't square, which I knew that in the beginning, but that's all right. I've got to have that light so that I can see that this is square. Not quite. Cut it just a little too deep. The side of that Badan tool will cut that off. And I'll chuck it again. That looks good. Now, what I'm going to do is measure the inside, or the diameter of this tenon that is here. And I will then I will cut the inside of this so that this fits right into it. And this is a part that takes some time. And I always start in there a little bit. This is the part that takes the time. Now the inside of this lid has to be domed. It's cut deep. If you can see it in the picture there, you might be able to see how it's hollowed out. There we go. I think you can see it now. No, better with the light on. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I'll take a 3/8 bowl gouge. I want to hollow it down in, make a cone shape in there about 3/8 deep. If you're unsure about your measurements, you can make a tool like this. It's a depth gauge with a long bolt in it and a flat side on it. Push it in here like this. Tighten up the bolt. Oh, we've got a 1/4. I might take it down a little more. It's 5/16. But I want to get my lid fit on here right now. No, it won't fit yet. It's a delicate thing, so hopefully I get this done. It's not too loose. Now I'm going to make the outside of this lid. And I want to make it about this high. You can see it there. I'll cut down in and then taper the round part toward the knob on the top of it. I'll use this 3/8 bowl gouge to do this. We'll round this edge off up here like this. Cut it on down in. That's about the diameter I want that knob on the top. I'll round it down a little in there. Round it off out here. I'm going to sand this lid just a little bit on the outside edge. I had a little bit of a rib on it there. I'll hold this. Change to a spindle gouge here. It's got a longer taper on it. And that's so much for that. And before we're all finished, we will get it down and get everything the same diameter. But that's fitting just right. Amazing. There we go. Now this is the next part. I will just true this up a little on the outside with my spindle roughing gouge. That's good there. And now this isn't true out here, so we'll get that smoothed up. Now that's pretty good there. Not bad. Now this is what the actual bottom is. This cupped out part right in here. So I'm going to put a mark on here. I'm going to put a bottom on it that's about this thick. It's probably 3/4 of an inch, about that. Then this will all be cut away down in here until we get down into about a half, 9/16 in diameter to make that cone. Yeah, that'll be right. So I'll start to cut this down right in here. Now this diameter right in here has to be this diameter here, so that when it goes on this way, it fits on there. And that's about the only way that you can do this. Now this diameter in here wants to be close, but it doesn't have to be the real snug fit because you want to get some glue in there on it. And I'm going to take a little more off in here just to make it easier to work with. We're doing good there yet. That's all I want to go for right now until I get the inside of this hollowed out a little bit. This hollowed out in here doesn't have to be real particular. It's just to let the salt, when it falls out of the hole in the middle of this, have a place to just spread a little bit however it wants rather than just putting a steady stream down. But I need a shoulder in here because I've got to reverse chuck this. And I don't like the, so that I can finish the cone end of this. So I'll cut a slot in here, and it probably won't fit these chuck jaws. But I've got pin jaws over here that it will fit onto. When you're doing any of these projects like this, you want to have or I've found you want to have more than one chuck for a lot of them. It saves you changing jaws. To change jaws on this chuck would probably take you 20 minutes. And after a while you get tired of that. So now I'm going to put another little divot in the bottom of this. Raise this tool rest up a little bit so that I'm more straight onto it. That's better. Now I want to put a hole in that. I'm going to drill a 1/8 hole in this. Just like that. Now to make sure it's deep enough, it's always nice to have a little pair of the vice grips around. And I can gain another little bit on that. Oh yeah, look at that. Just grip it in there and then it goes. I want to get this turned down now so that it'll come close to fitting. It's going to fit. Now I'm tapering this down because this will be the end in here that goes up into the body of the salt shaker. And I'll just taper it from back here down into here to about a 1/2 inch in diameter. That's what it's supposed to be, 2 inches. Now I want to check the squareness of this. It needs to be tapered in a little more. The better it is in here, the better it will line up on the bottom. That's pretty good now. I can always take it back off, but I want to get it down a little bit more out here at the end. That's good, 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to part it off right in there. Ooh, look at that fit. Nice. Nice. We'll have to change chucks. Now you don't want to open that real, try to crank down on that too hard, or you'll split it and then you'll have to make another one. So what we want to do is right here on the end of this, cup it out a little bit so when the salt falls in it, it'll hold a little bit. Tricky. And yeah, this is the right. You just take in here a little bit, very gently. I don't know if the camera will pick that up or not, but that's the way you cup that out a little bit in there. And I'll check my outer diameter, and that's good. It's just a little under a half. If you get it too big, it'll hold too much salt. And then I'll ream this hole again with the 1/8 drill bit. That's where the salt goes in. Now, while it's still there, let's see how this fits. Oh, that's nice. Yep. Now we'll put this on up here. And what you do with this, what you do with this chuck, or this live center, is take and knock the pin out of it. You do that with a rod like this. So you bring this up again here like that and put a little pressure on it. And you lock this down good and tight. Slow that down a little. See how, oh look, that's going to be fine. And you take this spindle roughing gouge again and that was finishing exceptionally smooth. But you can see there's a couple little wee bit of spaces in that. Now while it's there, I'm going to run a little wee bit of this sandpaper. I don't know what grit it is. 220. Yeah. Get those corners, just sharp edges off them. Get this sanded just a little bit. Take the roughness off. And now, here's where you can make a little bit of fanciness on it. You'll take a skew, put just a little wee bit of a groove in this, and I got to get a little more light on that. Now right there, you make a little bit of a groove. And right here, you make just a tiny bit of a groove. Then you take this wire with some handles on the end of it, knobs. You can buy it or you can find fine wire and make it. But don't try putting a loop in the end and putting your fingers in. If you want to take your fingers off, why, that'll do it. So you hold these knobs and then you take it in that groove. Oh yeah, that's working. It's starting to smoke. And right here you do the same thing. Oh yeah, that's working. Don't want to get too much or I'll set the fire alarm off. And now I think what I'll do is put a little finish on the outside. And I've got my Mylan's friction polish here, which is shellac and some other whatever. And pour some of this on here. It's not going to do much good, but it'll put a little finish on it. Shines it up a little bit. I think you can buy this Mylan's friction polish at Rockler or Craft Supplies or wherever. And I think it's boiled linseed oil and I don't know what else, shellac. But as I said before, don't put any of this on the inside. Now, oh, sorry, I could have got that. One last step to this now after I put the finish on is to take this bottom, the base, cone, whatever you want to call it, and put a little glue right around here. This is, use any kind of glue you've got. This is some kind of special, oh, it's supposed to stick everything together. And you put this on here like that, and then I don't want to pour the salt in it yet, but I've got another one here that's finished. Now here's another one that I've had around for quite a while. We pour the salt in like this. And put the lid on. And we'll take this kind of black sandpaper and I think it'll work on it. Can you see the salt going out onto it there? There it is. You shake it up and down like that. Magic salt shaker. Yay! There we go. Finished product. Right there it is. Whew, I lucked out on all of that today. Make them any size you want. This seemed to be the best size in here for the wood I had and for demonstration purposes. So that's how it's done. If you want to put threads on it, there's a way you can do it without buying a lot of equipment to do it with. And you go and you buy some PVC pipe fittings, Schedule 40. Cut the threads off the end of one and the threads off the end of the other, and you fit them on there, and then you can screw it together. But my legs are giving out on me, and I don't have time to do that today, but that's just another thought. And you don't have to put these round rings on it, these black rings, but it helps to set it off. But anyway, thank you, everybody. That's it for today. Have a good afternoon, evening, or whatever you're going to have.